Success only happens when preparation meets opportunity. So, in this video, I'm going to give you a full list of tips in order for you to prepare for any interview loop. Let's start. When it comes to interview preparation, there is a set of basic things that you have to cover for. The first one would be the project catalog. In that one, you will have to list all the projects that you've been involved with, or preferably driving, for the last 3 to 5 years. The next one would be look for books with typical questions that you can get in those interviews. Also, on the web, you can find a myriad of examples of the type of questions that you can get in any of those interview loops. The next one would be interview coaching. I don't know if you haven't heard about this, but yes, there is people that will help you to prepare for this kind of interviews, providing you feedback, making mock interviews to you. And guess what? I do that. I coach people in order to be successful during interview loops. My link in the description. It is also important that you compile a list of questions for the interviewers. Usually they reserve a time by the end of each interview in order for you to ask questions. Have at least 6 of them in a piece of paper just ready to be asked. And the reason is that will give the interviewer the signal that you have done your homework, that you are really interested in the position. So you can have questions about the role, you can have questions about the company, you can have questions about how things are done. You can find this anywhere on the web. And also, it is very important for you to actually provide a structure for all these interviews. Usually, interviews in the FAANG companies are well known, meaning that you will know what interviews you are going to be doing, in what order, and a thing that you can do is to put together a list of questions and how would you answer those questions, just to have them ready during the interview in case you get a similar question. Also, there are other interviews which are very open, like the systems design interview. In those, there is usually a structure that you can apply to them, like a set of questions or generic questions that you always have to ask at the beginning of that interview. Note those and have them ready because that will save you time. Of course, during the course of the interview, there are some elements that will definitely help you out. For example, having an additional monitor. In this additional monitor, you can have notes, you can have diagrams to make your life easier when answering questions from the interviewer. You can have in one screen, as I said, all your notes, and in the other screen, the PC with your interviewer. Maybe it may sound silly, but having pen and paper at hand, it's also important just for you to take notes and to not forget things that you have said before during the interview and to be consistent throughout it. There are some types of interview that will require from you to put together diagrams, meaning architectural diagrams or technical diagrams or components diagrams, or wireframes. In those cases, there are several options here for you, and that will change from interviewer to interviewer. You can describe the stuff, you can actually use the tool that was provided to you, which is something that you can do online, or you can suggest to use a whiteboard. I can definitely tell the whiteboard will be super advantageous for you. You will be faster, for example, in order to show wireframes and to put together the diagram. It's going to be faster than using an online tool. So bear that in mind. If you can borrow one from a friend, just have it there. Ask the interviewer, can I use the whiteboard instead of the tool? And if you can, you are golden. And last but not least, have with you water, tea, coffee. Remember, we want you alert, not jumpy, so don't overdo it. There are several things that I recommend whenever you are entering a full interview loop. One, as soon as you know that you are going to do the full loop interview, delay it as much as possible. If you can delay it by 2 weeks at least, do it. And the reason is you really wanted this job. And why won't you take it seriously and really prepare for it? So be consistent and take the appropriate time to prepare. After the pandemic, most of the FAANG companies were performing interviews over video conference. And they were also providing the chance of splitting the full loop into several days. If you have the chance, take it. The reason is, usually you will have 5 to 6 interviews, which will vary in time between 45 and 60 minutes, depending on the company. By the time that you reach the last interview, if you perform all of them in the same day, you will be so tired that you just want to get over it and you will be answering rubbish. So, split the loop in 3 interviews one day, 3 interviews the other day, and so on and so forth. And the reason is that you will be fresher and more relaxed whenever performing these interviews. And that definitely will impact your performance. And finally, it is all right. You already have prepared. You have spent weeks reading, receiving coaching, putting together diagrams, and putting together information and notes. So the day before the interviews, do nothing. Rest and relax, because the next day you are gonna hit it out of the park. And this is the time in which I ask you to hit the subscribe button and hit the notification button. The reason is you will receive a lot of videos packed with useful information. And be kind, be smart, and have fun. I guess that by this time you are super interested in watching more of my videos regarding interviews, so I will leave you with this one.